Among the main reasons of the current tensions in the world are the claims of certain forces to their exceptionalism, including cultural exceptionalism. This vulgar globalization and, I would even say, cultural expansion has resulted in the suppression and impoverishment of cultures. The liars have to fabricate the fakes in cinema, in journalism, in literature, and everything that goes against their notion. Our culture has recently been cancelled, or rather attempts have been made to cancel it, because it is impossible to cancel it by definition. This so-called cancellation of Russia, just like with the anti-Russian sanctions, didn't fly from the very beginning. Despite all the restrictions and sanctions, art still has no borders. The experience of 1,000 years of our history provides convincing proof that cultural diversity is the greatest good. And the interaction between the cultures is one of the conditions for stable and peaceful development. Among the main reasons of the current tensions in the world are the claims of certain forces to their exceptionalism, including cultural exceptionalism, and their disregard for other customs and spiritual values, their aspiration to unify everyone and everything under their own standards that they consider the best and the most universal. This vulgar globalization and, I would even say, cultural expansion has resulted in the suppression and impoverishment of cultures. It has increased the conflict capacity. We firmly believe that the future lies in a free, multi-dimensional and diversive cultural development and the widest dialogue of the humanitarian community of the multipolar world that we're witnessing today. And this United Cultures Forum is meant to become a part of this dialogue. We firmly believe in the aspiration of the artistic, enlightened people to build a fair and just and sustainable and secure world. And I believe that this is a true aspiration to improve the situation in the world. The Russian word for world is mir, and it can also mean agreement, society, and the entire humanity and the planet. I know that the participants of the forum have a rich agenda, and one of the key topics for discussions is discovering history through culture. I would like to note that apparently archives, documents, primary sources are seemingly available to everyone. That's not entirely true. Mostly specialists and experts are working with them. The majority of the people gain their knowledge of the past from books, movies, theater, painting, music, while the truth about the history and the most complicated pages of the past is provided by the masterpieces of the global culture, Russian, European, American, Chinese, Indian, Arab, and other cultures of the world. However, for those who are falsifying history, and there have always been such people at the breaking points in history, true and genuine art has always been a pain in the neck for them. It prevents them from distorting the past for the sake of their current ideological or even gender constructs as we see today. It prevents them from pitting people against each other, which is why the liars have to fabricate the fakes in cinema, in journalism, in literature, and everything that goes against their notion of the historical fakes is simply crossed out. They turn a blind eye to entire layers of art history of Western Europe, Asia, Africa, Latin America, as if they never existed. And our culture has recently been cancelled, or rather attempts have been made to cancel it, because it is impossible to cancel it by definition. They are trying to cancel a culture based in true compassion and freedom and spirituality. The policy of canceling Russia in itself is anti-cultural, neo-colonial, and racist in its very essence. The truth is that this so-called cancellation of Russia, just like with the anti-Russian sanctions, didn't fly from the very beginning. One of the numerous examples for that is the great interest, for example, for the Tchaikovsky contest. Its online audience exceeded 50 million people. In the modern world, you can't cancel things this big. It's simply impossible. It is strange that the people who are trying to do that fail to understand such things. And out of these 50 million people, over half of them were people from Europe, unwilling for someone to make the decisions for them, what they should read, what they should listen and watch. Despite all the restrictions and sanctions, art still has no borders. This has always been the case and always shall be, especially today, in the era of grand technological progress, which creates grand opportunities and new risks. We must calculate the consequences of these fundamental tectonic shifts and the achievements in genetics, in quantum mechanics, in artificial intelligence technology, and other advanced areas. These issues have also become one of the topics for the current forum, and this is logical. Only culture can ensure security and reason in the introduction of these advanced technologies. Only culture is the most natural ethical regulator of technological process.